Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial. Today I'm going to be looking at Lucid Group, and they trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol LCID. The reason I want to talk about them is they are going to be announcing earnings this upcoming Monday. That is Monday, November 15th. The reason why I want to cover them is because they have been on a monstrous tear, including 10% today. And they've been as high as $47, $48 a share in the recent past, and I think that we may see them eclipse their earlier year price when they were still CCIV in their SPAC phase all the way back in February. The company has been rocketing skyward, largely originally due to the fact that we saw a massive gamma squeeze where people were throwing tons and tons of money at call options for Tesla, and then Lucid and other EV makers got brought up with it. And then what we've seen following that is Lucid then announced that they had already begun and started their initial deliveries to some of their customers, and that was at the end of October. Now, 2 weeks later, we see one of their largest rivals, or one of the largest EV makers in the business, Rivian, IPO'd this week with a monstrous IPO, being worth more than Ford and nearly as much as Ford and GM combined. So they had a monster day, and Lucid is also riding some of that momentum. You can see their market capitalization is sitting right now at about $73 billion. And this is something that they could continue to move, and it could continue to be huge for them. What we're going to be looking at going forward is what some of those expectations are. One of the things that I would highlight is this is largely going to be driven by their investor presentation from this past June. And what I'm going to be looking for is some of the sales numbers as well as what expectations are in terms of ramping up deliveries. So let's take a look at that presentation. So this is the market opportunity and financial outlook from the Lucid investor presentation. You can see all of this information available on their website. What I want to highlight is their expected total addressable market, or TAM, is about 15 million units in terms of luxury EVs. And you can see some of that planned development going forward. Right now they have two vehicles, or really they have one vehicle, and the expectation is that they will have two in 2023. They've actually started delivering on the Lucid Air, and already we're seeing very positive feedback. They currently have the longest range battery on the market, coming in at 520 miles per charge by the EPA. So it's been very, very impressive. I believe, if I've read that article or if I read their press release correctly, that they delivered 520 of these vehicles, the Lucid Airs. Most of those are going to be north of $100,000 in terms of total price, and they delivered more than 500, or handed those over to the client, more than 500 of them in October. And you can see that the expectation here is to have a total of 20,000 next year. The expectation for this calendar year, 2021, is less than 1,000. So they're already starting deliveries, and the expectation is that will continue to grow going forward, with the total revenue going to be about 2.2 million or 22 million going forward. So they're continuing to grow, continuing to make deliveries, and overall have been very impressed with the progress they've made, because what we've seen with a lot of these high-flying EV stocks when they first start out is that they have a ton of trouble of actually getting to the original delivery point where they actually have products on the road. You can see what this may look like going forward. In 2022, they do expect to have a gross profit. However, that is going to lead to a lot of pain as they continue to have a number of expenses. One of the things I expect to see here is going to be compensation, or stock compensation, as well as they continue to have to ramp up in terms of CapEx, in terms of building out their production facilities. That is going to continue to be the main focus. And then going forward, the expected profitability is going to be really in 2025. And that's something that they've been stating, and I anticipate that they will update later, or on Monday. You can see the total expected financials here, where they're expecting to deliver less than 1,000 vehicles in 2021, with 520 of these already sent over. One of the things that I would highlight is I have zero expectation that the management thought that they would be this successful so early in terms of market capitalization and total price. One of the things that would not surprise me is if they were to go out and do a dilutive equity raise and raise some money to take advantage of this high stock price. If they were to, for example, do a 10, 15, 20% dilution, which would not be good for current shareholders because it would dilute the value of their shares and it could possibly send the price plummeting, but they could easily raise anywhere between 5 to as many as $10 billion in cash that they could use to fund further growth. And that's a strategy that Tesla did significantly over the course of the past decade. So what I would be unsurprised to see is if they were to announce something like that, maybe not at the earnings, but later next week if they expect to have strong earnings report and highlight some of the production capabilities. All in all, that's my expectation right now, is that they are going to highlight that they are achieving a number of the goals, maybe even on the faster side of what they expect. They're going to talk about their product, which seems to be doing very, very well and has gotten a lot of very positive feedback. And then pending that news, we may see, if we see that run up, we may see a dilutive equity raise where they're selling additional shares. I'd be unsurprised. I think that would be the best management decision. You just may not enjoy that if you're a shareholder. But all in all, keep in mind that this company is trading at an incredibly high valuation, and as such, I'm not going to condone putting in a substantial part of your overall portfolio into a single stock, highlighting that this is going to be the next Tesla. Keep in mind that I also think that Tesla is incredibly overvalued. And all of these EV stocks, when the evaluations are that high, that means that they can plummet back to earth very, very quickly. But that's not to say that there's not opportunity still out there. And I really like what the Lucid team is doing. Just keep in mind that the potential for a dilutive equity raise by the end of this calendar year is definitely there. So if you find this type of content helpful, let me know in the comment section down below and leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow and encourages me to continue to produce this type of information. If you want to talk about Lucid or any other stocks, feel free to join the free Discord in the description down below. Thanks. Talk to you later.